guys, welcome to this series of Kubernetes for beginners. Today we are going to talk about ConfigMap. So in a simple language, what is a ConfigMap? So ConfigMap is an API resource. It's part of one of the API resources that Kubernetes uses to consume configuration file, right? So it's an API resource that Kubernetes uses to consume, for example, configuration file, right? So I went too fast here. So and those configuration file, most of the time, those are non-sensitive data. So if you have like if you have an application that has configuration file, you can use ConfigMap to actually use Kubernetes. Like Kubernetes, you can actually create a config map out of that, and Kubernetes will basically use that to inject that, for example, inside the pod. So config map is actually a Kubernetes object that allow us to consume configuration file, and those are in forms of key pair, right? So those are in form of key pair, and those are non-sensitive data, right? Config map is for configuration file, and also for non-sensitive data in form of key pair, right? So that's when we say key pair, we're talking about this. So that's in form of key pair. If we see an example, let's say we have this configuration file here, for example, for the server, the database, and the logging. In the config map, we are going to consume it like this. So we are going to write a config map to consume it like this. So now let's go to the terminal and try to demonstrate this. So in the terminal here, I have that here. So I will copy everything here. I have the config map here called my app config. So I'm going to come down here. I was testing this earlier, so let me delete it. You take down this file. One second, it will be good to go. So basically, I'm going to empty the file, and I'm going to actually recreate the file. So kubectl apply -f kubernetes.yaml. K stands for kubectl, right? I said an alias earlier, like K equal kubectl. That is why I can type K. So earlier we type kubectl apply. Let's just apply the object. So if I type kubectl get config map, you will see that there's a config map called my app config that get created. This is coming from here, my app config. I can describe this. So kubectl describe config map. It will show us everything that we have here. So all the value that I showed you guys earlier in the config map, meaning that all this value here in the config map are actually being printed here. Now, if I try to get that the YAML file of that, if I say kubectl get config map with the config map name hyphen, if I say it will give me this. If I say hyphen o YAML, in terms of YAML file, because this is a Kubernetes manifest, it's written in terms of YAML file. We have all that. So everything that is set here is actually set order for. So guys, just to make it simple, config map is just what Kubernetes use to consume configuration. If you have an application with that has a lot of configurations, you will use config map. And also, if you have an application that you want to store, for example, like and non-sensitive data, you will use also config map. So I hope you like the video. See you guys on the next video.